Well, welcome. I'm excited to have Karen Barnett with me today. Karen, thank you so much for joining me today.
I'm excited to be here. I love talking about books.
Good. I do too. It's a wonderful thing, that's for sure. This is the first time I've gotten to meet you, so can you just give me a little information about yourself?
Well, I used to be a park ranger many years ago, and so I now like to write fiction. It's my way of staying connected with the parks. So I write novels that are set in our national parks, mostly historical fiction.
Okay. You know, I think it was your website, and you were talked about, let's see, I have it written here. I've got so many notes, I apologize. But you said, history comes alive and God's fingerprints can be seen in every towering peak, rushing river, and ancient tree. And I just in my own flower garden, I can see God. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. And you get to see a lot more than as a park ranger. In the
I feel like his creation is just a gift to all of us, and we can see him in all of it. And I like to kind of remind people about that, you know, whether it's an incredible national park like, you know, Yosemite or Yellowstone, or whether it's your own backyard, we can see little bits of him in all of creation.
Yes, yes. So you said your books blending adventure, romance, and faith with the beauty of the wilderness. So you've got some of your books here, so let's talk about them.
Well, it's been a real passion project for me because I love history so much, and I love nature and the history of the national parks. So just being able to pull all of that together is like, I'm like a kid in a candy store. Just give me a national park and I'll find a story that goes with it. So my two most recent are When Stone Wings Fly, which is set in Great Smoky Mountains National Park, and has the story of, it's actually two timelines, one in the 1930s when the park they were just starting to acquire land for the park, and it was all private land, and so a lot of heartache going on as people were kind of forced off of their property, or property was purchased at bare bottom prices, and then great-granddaughter later trying to come back and find out the story of what happened to her great-grandmother, and that's called When Stone Wings Fly. And then my most recent one is Where Trees Touch the Sky, which is set in the Redwoods. And it is also two generations of women. And I love that, you know, someone in the present day trying to solve a mystery of what happened in the past. So this is a great niece trying to discover something about a family secret in the past. And her great aunt was a redwood conservationist and helped to get some of the properties that became part of the Redwood State Parks and the Redwood National Park. Okay. And now she is one of the first women park rangers at Redwood in the 1970s. So it's the 1920s and 1970s in this one.
Okay, so what do you find difficult about writing do you call it a dual timeline?
Yeah, dual timeline. I love just how history weaves together, because I was writing just strictly historical novels, which just tells a story in the past. And I found with the national parks, so much of the past affects how we view the park today, or how we interact with the park today. Particularly in the Smokies, that's very obvious, because you still get little pieces of history when you walk around, and you see remnants of old cabins and things in the woods there. So I wanted to talk about how what happened in the past affects the local community, affects people who visit the parks, and it felt like kind of the untold part of the story. But yeah, it can be difficult because I switch back and forth between historical and modern, and really need those to weave together so you don't lose the reader, like, what time period am I in? And so I make sure that every time we make a jump between the time periods, that there is something linking them. There's a reason that I'm going back and forth, not just chopping it up and throwing it together like a salad.
So what does your well, I would call it like a whiteboard. What does your place look like where you write to keep all of this straight?
A lot of that honestly happens in my head. I know people that do, you know, giant spreadsheets or storyboards on the wall and that kind of thing. A lot of this, I am what they call a seat of the pants writer, so I don't outline a lot. I know where the story is going, but a lot of it happens. I like to discover the story the same way a reader does. I like it to come to me and, you know, find out little by little and not spoil my own endings. So Because I'm a reader too, so if I already know where the story's going, it's no longer interesting. But I know the basic ending, but I don't know how they're going to get there.
Okay.
So, yeah. A lot of that. So I have a lot of cleanup to do after I write to actually make sure it makes sense all the way through.
Sure.
Yeah.
Man, and so what national park, or where were you a park ranger?
I was a park ranger at Mount Rainier National Park in Washington State,
Okay.
and then I worked for a couple of years at Oregon's. I'm from Oregon, so Silver Falls State Park is kind of the crown jewel of the Oregon parks. It has 10 big waterfalls, and
wow.
yeah, so that was a beautiful place to work too. And that was just a joy to work with people when they're on vacation in a beautiful place. It was kind of a dream job.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm going to write.
I'm gonna write. Yeah. Well, I decided to have a family, and my husband works office hours, and I was working tourist hours, and never the tween shall meet. So
Sure.
kind of went into writing, and I've loved that because I can discover national parks through story as well. Though I go to every park that I write about.
Sweet.
So I've written 6 national park novels now, and I make sure to visit all of them because you can only make up so much
Sure.
before you start getting letters
That's
if you
pretty-
didn't do that right.
Pretty nice research.
It is a joy. I feel very blessed and a little guilty sometimes with like how the incredible places I get to see
Sure.
because of this.
Oh, and then you said that on your website too that you do have some non-national park books if
Yes.
you're looking for something different.
Yes, I have a 3-book series set in the San Francisco earthquake of 1906, and so that's a building like 3 different couples in 3 novels over the. I mean, the earthquake only took a couple of minutes, but there was the earthquake, and then there was the rebuilding, and then there was the city kind of starting over. So that was the 3 novels there.
Okay.
And then I have another one. My very first book was a rum-running romance. So a young woman trying to keep her brother out of a bootlegger's lifestyle. And
Okay.
in the 1920s, who can you trust? You couldn't always trust the police. You couldn't always trust, the people around you. So it was that one's almost more of a suspense novel.
Okay.
And that was a lot of fun.
Well, awesome. Those all sound fantastic. So, okay, Karen, so where can people find out more about all of your books?
Well, I have a website. It's Karen Barnett Books. So Barnett is Barnett, and books at the end, Books. Don't know when you write it out. KarenBarnettBooks.com, and it has information on all my books. It also has a free ebook that you can download, just kind of if you want to just try it out. So.
Sure. Are you on any social media at all?
Oh, I'm on all social media. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram mostly, and then a little bit on X and other places.
Okay. Well, so my last question is more about faith. So people can have faith and believe in anything. Why do you choose Jesus?
I came to faith very young, even though my family wasn't necessarily a Christ-following family. My parents weren't raising me in that, but we had a neighbor who took my brother and I both to Vacation Bible School across the street, and I just fell in love with Jesus at a very young age, and had beautiful teachers there and in Sunday school as I grew up, and then into college, and it's just always been a joy to me. I don't know how you can go out into nature and not see God everywhere. It amazes me when people, who are not believers can spend time in these incredible places and not see Him. Because to me it is so glaringly obvious.
Sure. Well, I appreciate you being on the show with me today, and
Thank you for having me.
Love hearing about your books, and it's just been a pleasure to meet you. Thank you.